What's up everybody, I'm Seth Fowler and today I'm showing you guys my sneaker shopping adventure that I went on in New York City and Philadelphia. The first place I stopped was Billionaire Boys Club in Soho. It's one of my favorite places to go for Adidas releases, and to my knowledge they might only do Adidas stuff because the place is actually owned by Pharrell. They always have a pretty good selection, and the reason I think they do is because their shoe section or sneaker section of the store is actually all the way in the back, so it's super hard to find unless you know where it is. And they always have some stuff that you would be surprised to see sitting. For example, you've got a crazy selection of Ultra Boosts, you've got PODs, you've got Boost You Wears, and surprisingly, they actually still had a pair of the Yeezy 500s in triple black. So this triple black colorway, as you guys have seen in my review, is not my favorite colorway of the sneaker, but it's not bad. Scratch that, I'm not a fan at all. Surprisingly, they still had both colorways of the Pharrell Boost You Wears that just dropped on Adidas.com and Adidas retailers last week. I actually really like both of these shoes, both the black and the pink pair, and I purchased the black pair on Adidas.com, but I'm still waiting for my shipping confirmation. They've been pending for about a week and I've paid for them, so I don't know what the deal is. But these shoes do look pretty interesting. I think I like them better than the original Boost You Wears, and that's because I think I really like that pop of pink that's going on this black pair. It's essentially just a standard prime knit Boost You Wear, nothing really crazy or special going on other than the colorway differences. I also like the pink colorway as well, but I think out of the two, the black colorway is the way that I really want it to go. Next up, I hit up Adidas Originals in Soho, a couple blocks up from Billionaire Boys Club, and of course they had the Future Pacers. This is actually where I grabbed my pair of Future Pacers. They also have a pretty good selection of all Adidas Original shoes, as you would expect. They did have all the colorways of the Adidas Continental 80s, which are a pretty nice shoe and obviously are what inspired the Power Phases by Kanye. I think they're a nice shoe overall. They're only $80, which is pretty incredible and I think a pretty good value. The wall did have some pretty good stuff, but nothing that I was crazy interested in. They did have the Sobakovs, which I just got from Adidas. The next stop was S&S in the Meatpacking District, and as you guys can see, I was wearing my Kith Ultra Boost, one of my favorite pairs that I own. This store is really great. They actually have a crushed car in the front of the store. I'm not sure the significance behind it, but it's there. They always have a really good selection of Adidas stuff. It's pretty crazy how much they actually have. And when they first opened, they did a big restock and they actually had stuff sitting for months. It was crazy. But they have a pretty good Nike selection as well, not as good as, some other stores in the city. But they did have this pair of I guess it's the Nike Box Air Maxes. They also had this pair of Nike trainers in brown and I guess orange and green. I'm not sure exactly what the colorway is called. Next up was the Jordan section of the store. It's not bad, but it does have a lot of shoes that have sold out a lot of other places, like these Chinese New Year 6s. Not exactly my favorite shoe in the world, but it's definitely not a bad shoe overall. Just a little bit busy if I'm honest. They also had the International Air Jordan 3s, which I think it's kind of interesting that it actually has Michael Jordan's signature on the tongue. As you would expect, there was a bunch of City Sock NMDs. These shoes haven't really been selling out over the last year, so a lot of them are sitting. They also have these new pairs of the NMD Racers, which are an interesting shoe, but not really something that I'm totally interested in. They actually had a pair of NMDs that I was really interested in, the Adidas NMD TS1 Meta Cages. And I think it's based off coordinates, and I think that's what the numbers down the center of the tongue are. They're actually coordinates of the store. One thing I think is kind of cool about this shoe is that it's got a shroud or sort of a flap over top of the laces, similar to what we saw with the Future Pacers. I'm not sure the reasoning behind that, but this is a shoe that I did consider reviewing. They also had a surprisingly good selection of the AM collection, both the Parises, the Londons, and the New Yorks. And of course, they had a pretty good POD and Ultra Boost selection as well. I mean, there's only really one POD colorway out right now, so they had the one colorway that was out. They also had these Alexander Wang socks, which, are... I mean, you guys don't like them, I don't like them, I don't know why they made them, they're just kind of there. They had the young ones as well, which is kind of cool because they sold out pretty much everywhere. They had them in both colorways. Not a huge fan of the orange colorway, but I definitely like that white, red, and blue colorway. I actually own it, I just still haven't had a chance to wear it yet. These are the AM for Parises, which honestly I think are my favorite out of all the AM sneakers that released, at least visually. This is a very European store, so they have a great selection of Air Maxes, a bunch of 97s, a bunch of 1s, in tons of different colorways. Really great sneakers overall. They also had the Nike EXP X14s, which is a shoe that I haven't tried yet, and I've heard from people that it's not a great running sneaker, but it looks good, which I think is kind of cool. That's part of the Just Do It collection, that particular colorway. So the next day I went down to Center City, Philadelphia, which is really only about an hour and a half Amtrak ride away. And of course, when I'm in Center City, I've got to stop by Ubik, my favorite sneaker store in Philly. In my opinion, they have the best selection in Philadelphia. I'm always surprised by what I find. If you guys follow them on Twitter at all, you know that they do a little bit of trolling, and they said that they had these in store, which of course course they do, but just in a case, so you couldn't actually buy them. That kind of sucked, but it is what it is. This is the bottom of their store. This is where they keep most of their sneakers, and most of the hype stuff are kept in those cases. The reason I actually came to the store was to check out the Off-White or the deconstructed Vans that had just released. Of course, they were sold out completely. They only had women's sizes in the low top. The high tops were the ones I was really interested in. This shoe is pretty cool. It kind of looks like a slip-on, but it's got laces. The whole idea behind this sneaker is really interesting. It's that apparently Virgil was with Vans before he went to Nike, and then he went to Nike, and the shoes that he created at Vans never released, so people think that that could be what they are, but no one really knows for sure. I actually did end up picking up this shirt. That's why I threw it in the vlog, because I think it's a really cool looking shirt. Ubik also had another colorway of the EXP X14s in this black, orange, and white. Not a bad looking shoe, but I've really only ever heard bad things when it comes to fit and how it is to run in, so probably not something I'm gonna pick up. One thing I really love about Ubik is they have this thing called the Ubik Lab, where you can actually take a specific shoe that you have, give it to their designers, and they actually can rebuild it in like these crazy materials. So these are all examples of shoes that they've done. Like they've got the acronym Prestos in like really amazing snakeskin, which is incredible. This right here is the second floor of the store. It's got some more designer stuff. It's got some brands that you probably wouldn't expect to see. They've got all sorts of Puma. They've got Brand Black, which actually is really stepping it up. It's also owned by Skechers, which is something I just found out a couple months ago that kind of surprised me. They do have a pretty robust Nike section, some stuff that they didn't have downstairs. They've got upstairs. They've got all sorts of Vapor Maxes, all sorts of Air Max 270s in prime knit, in leather. Of course, they've got a Jordan wall. These are the Shadow 10s that released a couple weeks ago. They've got the brand new Air Jordan 3s in triple white, which also released a couple weeks ago. These tan Jordan 14s, which I've never been a fan of. And in fact, I mean, obviously if they're sitting, they didn't do too well. And then really the surprise of the day, you guys have probably already spotted, are these denim 4s. This is a shoe that I've wanted for a long time, but unfortunately they only had a whole size down from what I wear, which sucks. So I still, you know, I'm gonna be honest, I still tried the shoe on, as you guys will see in a second, but you know, unfortunately it wasn't working for me. It was just way too tight. I did end up getting my girlfriend a pair in a smaller size in a previous video, which you guys might have seen, but you know, it wasn't in the stars today, guys. It was a shoe I really wanted, but unfortunately couldn't make it work. That pretty much rounds off the video for today. Thank you so much for watching. Please make sure to give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, subscribe if you haven't yet, and I'll see you all in the next one.